Alright, so what do you need to know about Sonic Adventure 2? Well, first off, while it has been quite a while since I LP'd Sonic Adventure 1, it was only about a 2.5 year break between Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. More importantly though, Sonic Adventure 2 was actually developed by Sonic Team USA, rather than just the usual Japanese branch of Sonic Team. Now, both of the adventure games do share a lot of DNA, but I think the difference in developer really gets a very different tone across. Just a very different tone and sort of feeling of the game that kind of stemmed from the similar ways the games were developed, and what, in my opinion, is the only really defining characteristic of the two adventure games. Now, a lot of people will argue what counts as an adventure game in the Sonic series, and some people seem to think that if we ever got a Sonic Adventure 3, that would automatically mean it would be amazing and just an absolute masterpiece with nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Other people will point to other games in the series like Sonic 06, which does share a bit of blood with Sonic Adventure 1, or Sonic Unleashed, and the fact that in Japan it was called Sonic World Adventure. But really, none of that stuff matters. To me, the main defining characteristic of the adventure games is the fact that part of the development was that the team just went on vacation. I am completely serious, I'm not being ironic about that whatsoever. One of the cool things about Sonic Adventure 1 is that the team did do a bit of traveling and had some inspiration from that, which is why, out of nowhere, there's just a sandboarding section in Sonic Adventure 1, because the development team saw sandboarding in real life and said, "That's rad, we want that to be in our video game about a blue hedgehog." And you know what? They were right. While it does not embody the entirety of the game, I love the little bits and pieces that you can see that were derived from their little world tour. Sonic Adventure 2 is very similar. Given that this game was developed by Sonic Team USA, they took a lot of inspiration from, well, America. And while I kind of prefer the first game's approach to its inspiration, it's not to say Adventure 2 is illegitimate, and I mean, basing Sonic Adventure 2 in part off of US locations clearly worked out really well, because one of the most iconic starting stages in the series is just San Francisco. Like, we're gonna see that in a few minutes. We're just gonna be in San Francisco, but like, everybody loves that stage, so they were clearly onto something. Now, of course, that's just a little bit of inspiration. I highly doubt the pyramid areas or space came from any actual developer vacations where they went to those places, but it's a Sonic game. It can't be based entirely off real life. Otherwise, where would we get all the big loops? I don't think there are any loops in real life, and if there are, they've probably killed someone. You can also see a very clear divergence in what the teams wanted out of their respective games. Sonic Team USA wanted faster, and boy did they ever do faster. Not necessarily always in a good way. Adventure 2 trims a lot of... I don't want to call it fat, but we'll just say it trims the fat from Adventure 1. Whereas Adventure 1 had two different types of stages. You had your action stages, and you had your adventure fields. Sonic Adventure 2 says, no, you don't need to explore between stages, it's just going to be stages, so unless you take stops at the Chow Garden, Sonic Adventure 2 starts and then kinda just keeps moving until it's over. That's also true of the cutscene pacing, and quite frankly, the cutscene pacing is partly why I'm glad I do these preambles now, because there is really no room to breathe at any point in Sonic Adventure 2. So anyway, while both Adventures 1 and 2 were pretty well received when they were released, I think over time people typically fall more on the Adventure 2 side of things. People prefer this game and its faster pacing, and also, I think, mainly the story. Also, I guess the Chow Garden also has more to provide than Adventure 1's Chow Garden did, but whatever. The plot is probably what drives most people to this game over Adventure 1, though to be fair, Adventure 2 seems initially to be the more put together game. It has more polish than Adventure 1 had. You could kinda see the duct tape in Adventure 1, a little less so here. Not to say it's a perfectly made game or anything, and I'm also playing the Steam version of Sonic Adventure 2, which probably isn't helping things, but regardless, ignoring front-facing quality. Alright, so for me, I actually kind of prefer Adventure 1 personally. Adventure 1 had 6 stories, this one has 2, but there are 3 gameplay styles, and they're the same gameplay styles in both storylines, so instead of having one solid character type gameplay, you'll be switching between the 3 of them as you progress through the story. Given the way Adventure 2 works, I'm not going to say that's necessarily a bad thing for it, because having 2 different viewpoints makes more sense than just splitting up the viewpoint between all of the characters, though it does make for a much different experience. As for the actual quality of these gameplay types, alright, look, I, for the most part, want to just talk about Sonic Adventure 2 on its own merits, because while I do prefer Adventure 1, I don't dislike Adventure 2, I do think it does a lot of cool things, and I think it's a pretty good game. But it's going to be impossible not to compare the two sometimes, because, technically speaking, all 3 gameplay types can be found in Sonic Adventure 1. I will wait to talk about the actual quality of them until I actually get to them, but I'm going to level with you. A lot of times I would kind of just prefer Adventure 1's version of things. Again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but I do just want to make it clear that I prefer Adventure 1, but I want to give this game its own fair shake, because, I mean, it's a classic for a reason, and I don't think that's illegitimate, but as a fair warning, some levels did kinda drive me up the wall while playing them, so might not always have the best things to say about them. Anyway, though, enough about that. It's time to delve into just Sonic Adventure 2 starting, and it will only stop when I just hard cut it for the end of the video. That's the only way we can escape Sonic the Hedgehog's wild ride. This is Sonic Adventure 2 for Steam, which is a port of the original Dreamcast version and not Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Now, you can buy Battle as DLC for like $3, but all I really need for this playthrough is the base game, so vanilla it is. Now, as I said in the preamble, there are 2 storylines. Now you might be wondering, which ones am I doing? Yes. However, we are starting Hero Story.
Sigma Alpha 2 heading due south over the city. We're en route. Everything's a go.
This is Control Tower. We have you on radar. Report cargo status of captured Hedgehog aboard. Over.
That's a 10-4. Cargo secured on board and... What?
Didn't copy that.
Hedgehog is
Over.
gone. He's taken out everyone aboard and...
What's wrong?
What in the
Come
world?
in. Over.
Freeze! What do you think you're doing? Get that Hedgehog!
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here. I like running better.
Alright, so we are starting in City Escape, which is, again, one of the most iconic opening stages in the series, and with good reason. I mean, this is cool as hell. We are just riding down the streets of San Francisco, I mean the capital city, on a scrap of metal that we got off a helicopter. So, if you're wondering, the timing for the jump is about when you hit the ramp, so like right there. But that's enough of that. That was just there for the intro. Now we're on foot. This controls mostly like Sonic Adventure 1. We've got our homing attack, always useful. However, Sonic also has the ability to grind now, which is, one of the most important abilities in the series, facilitated by, hey, you're supposed to be a soap shoes advertisement. Anyway, yes, Sonic the Hedgehog is wearing soap shoes, an actual product that probably can't make you do anything that Sonic the Hedgehog does. I never had any. But I would have to assume no earthly force could allow you to do anything Sonic does, like grinding or the spin dash. But yeah, grinding in this game is very awkward, and I'll get to that more in stages where there is more grinding, but I did my best to get a good take of this, and in fact, look, you probably shouldn't pay too much attention to my lives counter for this whole LP, because it's going to be all over the place. This is actually my second, successfully recorded attempt at City Escape, because I wanted a really good first run, and look, I am proud of most of my gameplay here, but oh god, I can't make rail grinding look good. But I can get a take where I don't fuck up the flippy jumps, the thing that was in, every platformer in the early to mid-2000s. God, this time period was plagued by that type of platforming. I never liked those. But anyway, yeah, no, just rail grinding. There's a whole mechanic about leaning. You have to lean into the rails so that you go faster, and boy, does it not feel like it works. I usually just press forward. Actually, no, I don't press anything at all, and that's good enough. Anyway, here we go. Here's the other thing a lot of people know about this game, is the gun truck. So yes, Sonic Adventure 1 had you getting chased by a whale in the opening stage. This one has you being chased by a fucking truck, which cares even less about the cars just parked on the side of the road than Sonic does. And Sonic was a horrible force of nature when it came to those. But no, the gun truck just doesn't give a damn. This isn't a particularly hard segment or anything, just hold down and you're good. And there we go! I assume this means we've escaped from the city. Alright, I did it. I hope I made you proud, Ted Pulley. And that's an A rank.
That was cool.
I think on my first successful run of this, I got, a C rank?
This game of tag is boring. I'm out here. Finally decided to show up, eh? Okay, bring it on.
He says finally decided to show up like we know this guy. Anyway, F6T Bigfoot, so this guy's a little bit harder than you might expect from a first boss, if only because it's really easy to actually just hit the ouchie part of the hitbox instead of the good part of the hitbox where you do damage to him. Also, if he decides to Gatling gun and you're in the middle of a jump, you're probably gonna get hit, so use the boxes to your advantage. He has pretty much the same pattern every time, so I knew where to start with him. If you position yourself on the right boxes, you can get an easy hit. Otherwise, he's not really a height where you can target jump him, until he eventually comes down to meet you and try to shoot you, but I killed him too fast for him to do that.
Take care.
I mean, it's no, hey, I'll play with you some other time, but I guess that's an okay end quote.
What?
It all starts with this. A jewel containing the ultimate power.
That's the Chaos Emerald! Now I know what's going on. The military has mistaken me for the likes of you. So, where do you think you're going with that emerald? Say something, you fake hedgehog!
Chaos Control!
Wow, he's It's not his speed. He must be using the Chaos Emerald to warp.
Shadow, I'm the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell.
Shadow, what is it?
Keep your hands up!
Not again.
Intruder alert! Intruder alert! Security breach at Gate 3. Intruder has been located in the north quadrant and is moving in the direction of the underground base. All units prepare to engage. Emergency battle formations. Standard battle procedures initiated. Locate and stop the intruder from entering the security area. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill.
That was all too easy. Let's take a look at what my grandfather was working on. A top-secret military weapon. The military shut down the research because they feared it.
Alright, so stage 1 of Dark Story is Iron Gates, and yeah, back to 12 lives. Look, this game just like autosave, so anytime you gain or lose a life, even if you have to restart a run for whatever reason, you just keep your life in that. Anyway though, yes. This is the Eggman gameplay, so Sonic of course moves like he does in the first game. Obviously, Sonic controls like Sonic. This, however, is much like Gamma's gameplay from Sonic Adventure 1, only with, I swear, a far clunkier character. I mean, it makes sense. Gamma was pretty lean. Oh no, Omochow's not going to help me anymore. I'm so brokenhearted. Anyway, though, yeah, like, this is the shooting gallery gameplay type from Sonic Adventure 1. Again, I swear I remember Gamma playing better than this, though being a little clunkier isn't a huge issue for now. But yeah, I don't think this controls horribly, but I do kind of prefer Gamma in the first game. That being said, we're also missing a very crucial upgrade that Gamma also had to pick up that also made Gamma feel a lot better, but we're not going to be getting that upgrade in the first stage. This is just an introduction to the gameplay style and, of course, the tone of Dark Story. I mean, we're gonna see this gameplay style again in Hero's Story eventually, but this storyline decides to just start it off with a bang. And Eggman is ostensibly the leader of the Dark Story, so leader's gotta go first. Even though Shadow is very clearly the poster boy of the Dark Story, being the edgy rival of Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, he's on the game box, you know he's here. You can probably guess what gameplay style he gets, but, you know. Eggman leads and does machines, that gives him priority. Gotta have him come in first, do his thing. Which is spin around, and fire laser. I should also mention, the actual mechanics of the gameplay style. Sonic, of course, just has running stages. Those are straightforward. You make your way through a stage, you try to go quick. If you can't, that's fine. There's no actual time limit. You'll just feel bad because you want to go fast in a Sonic game. It's just, these games aren't actually hold right to win, and if you try to do that without knowing what you're doing, you're not going to have a good time. The gunning sections, however, has a slight difference to the gunning sections of Sonic Adventure 1. You do actually have a health meter down there at the bottom, and in addition, you do collect rings, and they can refill your health. If you notice the little black marks above the health bar, if you're missing any HP, those will fill up with a gold coloring as you collect rings, and if you get enough, that will replenish your HP. Or you could just hit the boxes that have a little first aid kit symbol, and that's also fine. So, in terms of gunning, the way you play this is you're going to want to hold down the laser so you target, and the more things you target at a time, the better your score. So, if there's an area with huge enemies, you can rapid fire to destroy them, be it with your normal shot or holding just long enough to get a target then releasing. But if you want a good score, yeah, no, target as many things as possible. Clearly, I did not target enough things here, or I would have gotten a better rank.
So this is the military's top secret weapon. It's a lot smaller than I expected. Enter user data. Enter password. Password is Maria. Maria. Now all I have to do is to place the Chaos Emerald into this console. Are you trying to spoil my plans again? Wait a minute. You're not Sonic. This is impossible.
My name is Shadow. Since you were so kind to release me, my master, I will grant you one wish.
Now, what?
Behold the true power I possess.
Hey, we just saw you! No, this is B3X Hotshot. It's completely different from Bigfoot's. I mean, it has mostly the same pattern. However, you might have noticed the extra gun on top of it. So the strategy is the same, although I will say its flight pattern is different enough that it threw me off. It lands a bit sooner, and those missiles can be a little difficult to avoid. He's also got this gun. It's very easy to interrupt, though. Like, incredibly. Also be wary of the invisible wall around this place. It'll help you not fall into a pit, but also if you try to target jump this guy from too far away, then you'll just hit the wall and not hit him. So, yeah. Wait for him to be in the arena. Other than that, yeah, no, this is the same boss, but possibly easier because he lands sooner.
Destroying that guard robot was spectacular! So, Shadow, you are the military's top secret weapon. But what did you mean when you said you will grant me a wish?
Bring more Chaos Emeralds.
Shadow, wait!
I'll be waiting for you in the central control room on the Space Colony Ark.
Ark?